Hello again, Tamira Hamilton here. Come on in, let me know where you are watching from. Today we're going to be talking about something that keeps coming up in my messages. I'm getting the question over and over again. I don't even know if it's really a question, but it's more like a mindset that I'm noticing that a lot of people have. I know I've talked about seasonality, and I've talked about how, we need to be ahead of the curve, ahead of the season. Actually, I went live and just talked about that a little while ago. But you have to excuse my voice. I know I sound even more like a man than I normally do because I'm getting over whatever this summer thing is that's going on. I don't know. It is what it is. Okay. So I know somebody out there is going to like it. But anyway, so here's the reality, right? Like, you need to know that, yes, parents are getting ready for back to school. Some are already sending their kids back to school. But for you to say that, you're not making sales, or you just throw in the towel and it's only the 8th day of August, I'm getting lipstick on my lips, to say, that on the 8th day of August already, that's just it. You really, kind of wrote August off already because kids are going back to school. That's the number one reason why people need to be creating a second stream of income, right? You need a second stream of income alone just to pay for back to school supplies. Like, the back to school supplies list are insane, right? Not to mention the clothes and the shoes, and some kids are more bougie than others with the things that they want. I myself, like, Lisa Frank was a big deal back when I was in middle school, but I had babysat and I had my own money to be able to go to the store and buy my own Lisa Frank school supplies and that. In fact, I always share the fact that I bought my own school supplies beginning freshman year in high school, and I never asked my parents to supply what I needed for school after freshman year in high school. So, that's that. But I was even buying some of my own supplies prior to that with little money, gifts and what I was making by doing things like babysitting when I actually did get paid, So I have cousins that are younger than me. I always tease them, like, your parents still owe me for babysitting you, which is true. But yeah. So, you can't just assume that just because parents are going to be getting their kids back to school and focused on back to school, that they're not going to want to spend money with you. Because the reality is people are going to make time and make the money, create the money for whatever it is that they truly want. So what you really want to be focused on instead is your offer, also your ideal client, who it is that you actually serve, and the value that you're presenting, right? That's really what it boils down to. The things that are going to make people buy are you going to save them time? Are you going to make them some money? Are you going to help them find a relationship, right? Those are the things that people care about most. So how is your messaging? Is your messaging aligned with the 4 or 5 reasons that people ultimately buy, right? Like, we know the top categories are like weight loss, relationships, finance, right? I'm just messaging my nephew here. He's coming to get something to eat. Okay. So you have to adjust your messaging based on the seasonality, right? If your ideal client is moms, you don't just act like and ignore that they are getting kids ready for back to school. Okay. So you can address that in your marketing, right? Like, do you need more money to, as a single mom, to afford back to school supplies, right? Because there are 5 core reasons why people ultimately buy. And you got to hit on those in your messaging. They want to make money, save time, and they're either running from something like effort or pain, or they're running to something else. And that's why I always talk about, you sell the vehicle, you sell the destination, not the vehicle, right? You sell the destination, not the vehicle. And so when it comes to your ideal client, and we're talking about the month of August, for example, and if your offer is a digital product and something with like MRR, like DBA, which is Digital Boss Academy, or BPU, which is Business Pro University, maybe you adjust your ideal client just a little bit. Okay, that's another option. You can adjust your ideal client just a little bit. So if you're focused on moms, maybe not moms with school age kids. Or maybe not moms. Maybe, there's a huge amount of effort and focus on and trending content out there about those who choose to not have children and are living their best lives. Maybe those are the people that you should target with a campaign for August. And maybe it shouldn't necessarily be about making money. Maybe it's more so about the lifestyle, right? Maybe it's about buying back their time, right? Maybe it's that they don't want to update their resume and, work for another boss or another company. But you need to focus on your messaging. But to just say that, oh, people are paying for back to school. And I know what it is. I know what it's like because I've led people for many years, right? It's likely that you talked to one or two people and you heard it. And now those one or two people suddenly have turned into everybody, right? I talk to everybody. Well, who's everybody? How many people is everybody? Everybody is less than a handful of people. Everybody is less than a handful of people. That's weird. That's strange. That's not normal. And this is what I say about people often will, begin with an opportunity, no matter the opportunity, with their list of 5 to 7 just people they know they're really attached to joining them and doing what it is that they do. And I know because I was once that person. And when those people say no, oh my God, the world comes crashing down. The world just comes crashing down when those people say no. And the key is to not be attached to the outcome, right? You go to those people and you talk to those people to get them out of the way. To say, hey, I presented it to you, because you present it to them, let them say no, and then you just keep doing what you do. And as they see you're winning, they see the success stories and the testimonials, then a seed is being planted every time they see that. And you would be amazed at how many eventually come around. You just don't know when they're going to come around. And that's why it's important for you to keep going and not let your reason why be the excuse, right? When I say the reason why be the excuse, I mean, for example, the single mom who's raising kids on her own and has to buy school supplies on her own. Her reason why to do it is because she has to buy school supplies and provide, a certain level of lifestyle for her kids and herself on her own, and it's all her. So I can tell you, as someone who's been in that position, it's definitely about buying back my time and creating more money without having to exert and spend more time. I'm running away from, I'm locked in. I can't really get a second job. Where is the time going to come from to work a second job? I need a second income. I don't need a second job, right? So you have to really know who it is that you serve and how you serve them. So again, it doesn't mean you have to go through every single module in DBA, but you need to understand it to be able to communicate the benefits and advantages of it to your ideal client in ways that's going to make them want to take action. Okay? Because if I'm a single mom, which I was, my kids are now adults, But we're talking, my youngest is 27. So we're talking just a little over 10 years ago. It was important to me to get more money without having to spend more time away from my children in my home. My primary job, my main job, made sure that there was not enough left of me for a second job. They made sure of that. That was intentional. There was not enough left. There was not enough time, not enough energy, not enough brain power, not enough desire to work a second, or like some of y'all, a third job, right? I didn't want to work and have even less time with my children, my friends, and my life, right? I didn't want that. So coming up with a message to me about being able to buy back my time, being able to make more money in just a few hours a day, even though a good chunk of my day would be gone, the good thing was after 6 o'clock, there was no being at work for me because of the type of work that I did. So I could find 2 or 3 hours a day in the evening. I could find 2 to 3 hours to have the TV on in the background and be creating content or doing whatever it is that we do now to generate income online, right? So you have to refine your messaging. And it goes back to the question of, do I have one ideal client? Here's the thing, you're going to have more than one ideal client. But in the beginning, it's super important that you only focus on one. You focus on one, and you get really good at your messaging and understanding what makes that one take action. What emotions, what pain points do you need to touch on in order for them to convert and become a customer? Okay? What pain points do you need to hit on? What emotions do you need to make them feel with your content? What questions and concerns do you need to address with your content? And once you get really good at that for one ideal client, then you can move on to the next, and you can do the same thing with another one, right? But in the beginning, that is just too much for most people who've never done it to be trying to talk to everybody. There's a saying, and I've been saying this for 10 years, and even people new to the scene who get it will say the same thing. We're all coming to the same conclusion, and that is this. When you're talking to everybody with your marketing, you're actually talking to no one. You're talking to no one. People need to feel seen. They need to feel heard, right? They need to feel acknowledged. I often say it's very much like you're in church and pastor says something and you're wondering if your grandma or your mama been telling all your business again, right? That's what it should feel like when you're marketing to them. I remember a post I did. It had to be like 2014, and I was talking about. Let me see if I can find the post. I know one of the things that came up in that post was talking about student loans and your job not being your job income not covering. You got an education, but the pay you're working for doesn't even cover your student loan payment. Let me see if I can find that post. And the comments that I received on that post, like, it was a breakthrough in my business, right? Because I was speaking directly to my ideal client. And what's crazy is my ideal client being women. Men also were responding, because that's the number one thing y'all get concerned about, that no one's going to talk, like if you're only talking to your ideal client, you have a scarcity mindset. So you're so concerned about everyone else, and you think that they just won't respond, and that they won't be interested. And it's just not true. It's just not true. But your content needs to basically be like you're talking to one person. So I'm going to share this on the screen. Here, let me turn this around. Okay. So it says, some people think this thing I do is a shortcut. I say you think so because it looks so effortless, and the most amazing thing is I'm having lots of fun. Call it whatever you want. I know it is a better way. Check this out. Hear me out for a second. I remember working hard all year for a bonus that was more than my annual pay. That bonus rode on so many other things beyond my control. Talk about risky. If I'm a people developer, so my team was always getting pulled up. Although I was proud and happy for them each time one was promoted, that meant starting over and more work for me. I had done it. I pulled my team through the worst of times. I talked about that earlier, 2008 and 2009, right? When the mortgage crisis happened and a big name on Wall Street went under. I lost half of my bonus and there was nothing I could do about it. Despite the fact that my team, which had been strapped for resources for months, beat out teams with all the resources. Basically, they were handicapped, and we know why. None of that mattered. The fact remained the same. I lost half. I couldn't get back the hours lost from my family and friends. I couldn't get the energy back and the effort that I put into it. Nope, it was all gone. But you go to school, you get a job, and you play it safe, right? Wrong. Time is the only thing you can never get back once it's gone. So they call it a shortcut. I call it a comeback. Get yours. Rappers and athletes are some of the highest paid individuals, and yet they also know this is simply a better way. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired and looking for a better way, inbox me. It's not all or nothing, but you don't know that until you get the facts. Contact me now to get the facts. But there was another one I know that I did that also talked about the student loans too. But this was September 21st, 2014. Okay. And I swear they eat up some of your contents. Love this. So poignant, yet so profound. True words. This is great. Beautiful and so true, right? Your ideal client needs to feel like you've been spying on them. They need to feel like you know them. They need to feel seen. They need to feel heard. Just a second, y'all. Just look in the refrigerator. Wash your hands. Yeah.
I was putting my phone in.
Okay. And it's stuff in that cabinet and that cabinet. It's actually a macaroni and cheese up above the microwave. So your ideal client needs to feel seen and heard. Okay? Without that, that is how you build connection. We always talk to you about creating engagement. Engagement is the gateway. But beyond that, what really builds community is that connection. People need to feel seen and heard. There's some paper towel over there. People need to feel seen and heard in order to really feel that deep connection where they feel they are rooted and a part of a community. So in that post, there are several things that I say that make people feel like they are part of this community, right? Like that they're seen and they're heard, right? You know, walking through how I put so much into work and got shysted, right? Talking about how I was basically overworking and being underpaid. And, you know, the heroics of pulling my team through one of the worst times and how we didn't have the resources. People could relate to that, right? There's a lot in here that people could relate to. It's crazy because there's a comment that's not showing, but I know that comment was there. And someone was like, oh my God, you're good, right? So you have to really understand who it is that you serve so that you can speak to them in a way where not only they feel seen, but they feel ready and willing to take action. Okay? And that's one of the things I love about DBA, for example. They actually give you captions that convert inside of DBA, right? There's an entire content vault. There's a whole module of content inspiration where you can see content from people who are doing it and doing it right. Okay? So this idea that just because parents are focused on buying things for back to school for their children does not mean that they're not still buying other things, that they don't have the money. It may mean that money is tighter. It likely means that they just need to create more money. Okay? This idea that you can save your way out of this, I stopped buying into that over 10 years ago, right? If you don't believe me, go buy and read the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and Cash Flow Quadrant from Robert Kiyosaki. He talks about that. You create the income for whatever it is that you want, right? And in the book, I think it was Cash Flow Quadrant, might have been Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but he talked about his wife wanting a BMW. He's like, that's great. So they go and they buy a distressed property with a tax lien on it and generate income from it. And that's her monthly payment for her BMW every month. If you want a course, if you want coaching, you should be able to create a digital product, buy a done-for-you digital product, and market the hell out of it to create the income to buy what it is that you want. And the best place to learn how to do that is Digital Boss Academy, DBA. And if you join DBA while I'm live, it's only $222 for Volume 2 compared to $333. Okay? Volume 1 is included with Volume 2. You're going to save time. You're going to save headache. DBA is a proven viral product instead of you trying to figure out a product, create it, and sell it. DBA is a proven product. It is a viral product. It is a product in demand because remember, in order to make money online, you need two things. You need an in-demand, high-converting product, and DBA is that girl. And you need traffic. So how I generate traffic is through my content, especially live content. But even my evergreen content, my short-form content, is collecting leads for me for DBA, right? It's also growing my social media platforms. Okay, by showing up and giving value like I am with this video right here, people become interested. I booked two one-on-one coaching clients from my video earlier. It's $500 to pick my brain for 90 minutes. Okay, and by going live and demonstrating my knowledge, experience, and wisdom, and helping people with Q&A, answering their questions, I'm able to effortlessly make the sale. Okay? That's what I'm talking about in the post. I know I make it look easy. Y'all think it's easy. Y'all think you can just buy something and all of a sudden you turn into Tamira. No, this is over 32 years of experience. And the shortcut for you is DBA, which, by the way, comes with a Telegram chat mentorship from me. Okay? I don't know what else to tell you, but there's no reason to be running around saying, oh, it's August, so yeah, I'm just going to wait until next month because, you know, mom's got to worry about back to school right now. They don't have time. Listen, if the why is big enough, they're going to figure it out. They're going to make it happen. When the why is big enough, there's no excuse. There is nothing that will stop a mom who has to do for her babies. Believe that, right? Believe that. The same mom that can get online and show dinners that she's making and selling to be able to get what she needs for her kids for back to school, that same mom can get online and sell DBA and digital products and get what she needs for her kids for back to school. Okay? You see those Starburst things?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was chips up there too.
I was good. The hot
Okay.
dogs. I was just like, eat some real fast. And then you go there.
Yeah. I think it might be one in the refrigerator. Put that in the refrigerator and get one out the refrigerator. Because I bet it's nasty cold. Okay? We've got to stop making excuses. People are spending money. They're spending money on what they find value in. What is the value? If people are not buying from you, what value are you giving them is your first point of breakdown. Really, it's your second, because your first is who do you serve and how is the value that you put out into the world tied directly to saving them time, saving them money, making them time, giving them their time back, as well as their finances or their what they're running from or running to. How are you saving them effort? How are you saving them time? Right? How are you helping them to avoid pain? Right? There are 5 reasons people typically make a purchase. It's going to make them money. It's going to save them money. It's going to save them time. They're going to avoid effort, or they're going to avoid pain. It's one of those 5. You have to figure out how to provide value and frame it in such a way with your call to action that's going to make them money, save time, avoid effort, right? Avoid pain. Like I said, as a single mom who was a 6-figure earner, but when you're a single mom, 6 figures doesn't end up being a whole lot, right? And when you're a single mom, whether you have boys or girls, I had 2 girls, you're not really interested in working another job instead of finding a way to create more money without spending even more time away from your children. Kayla Wayla says, right? Because, your kids can become a statistic even if you provide them with all the bells and whistles if they got too much free time, too much unsupervised time. If you can't get them involved in extracurricular activities. If you are an absentee provider, right? There's a lot of that, more of that has happened in the community than more people want to talk about. Exactly. They need us to be present and thrive. Exactly, Kayla. That is why the core driving force behind my business now, thank you for sharing, is helping 1,000 families to make their first or their next $1,000 online, because my children were privileged in that when especially their younger formative years, they were able to get off of the school bus in front of my grandparents' home and be with my grandparents until I got home. So not only were they in supervised care, they were in the best care next to being in my care. And that was with my grandparents, right? That's why it's important to me to be that for my grandchildren, right? It's the grandmother effect. I've gone live and I've talked about the grandmother effect. I've posted content about the grandmother effect. Passive income definitely changes the game for us moms. It totally does, and for our children. And it's not all about financial gain. It's not all about material things, right? It might initially start out like that, but your kids need you at home. I love the fact that my granddaughter, who just turned 4 in May, she has never seen her mom work outside of the home. And yes, her mom still works a traditional job, but she's been able to find jobs where she's been able to work from home. She was born during the shutdown. I was so heartbroken I didn't get to be there. at her birth. In fact, my grandson's birth is in my phone, and they love to watch it. And she's always asking for pictures or video when she was born. And I'm explaining to her, Nana didn't get to be at the hospital because it was either me or your dad. And I didn't want to do that to your dad. And we were lucky that your dad got to be there. But he sent me pictures as soon as you were born. Here's the pictures, right? So we have to explain that to her. It's not that I love her brother more. It's just the unfortunate situation that was happening in the world when she was born, but she was a blessing to come out of all of that, right? But she's never seen her mom work a traditional job. There was even a time when my mom was still working before retirement, and she was doing that from home in an office in her home. Neither of my grandchildren have seen or remember me working a traditional job. So the way that these children, right? Because if we're trying to break generational curses, the way that they look at the ability to make an income and be able to provide for your family and understand that you don't have to go work and punch a clock to be able to do that. I love it too, Kayla. I love it so much. I love it so much. Now the challenge is like last week when it was just me and baby girl, because her mom was in Turks and Caicos and brother was with his dad. She's a pandemic baby, so she's very attached, right? So she was very attached to me, and my babies are used to having my full attention when they're with me, right? They're used to having me fully present. So, I could truly only work when she was taking a nap or when she was asleep.
I'm about to go take a shower.
Okay. All right. See you later.
I'm gonna call you.
Okay. I'll probably be leaving here soon myself.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, you have to be able to communicate that type of experience and that type of benefit, that type of advantage to drive people to action and to get them to understand. And that's why it's really important to be very clear on not only who you serve, but why you're serving them. You heard me articulate it very clearly just now. My why I want to help 100 families make their first or next $1,000 online is because I firmly believe that more mothers, more grandmothers, more aunties need to be at home so these kids are not getting institutionalized going to daycare and learning bad things from other people's bad kids and their bad parenting, because the kids aren't really bad. It's usually bad parenting, and sometimes it's just not even bad parenting, it's bad economics. Right? I don't think I'm better than anyone, but I also don't think anyone is better than me. And I see the difference in my children from them, and trust me, that whole intergenerational stuff is a blessing, but let me tell you, it's also a curse. There's been a lot of healing that's happened in the last 10 years. Let me just say, right? Because establishing those boundaries, yes, says Kayla, establishing those boundaries is vitally important. You got to have those boundaries. And in some cases, we don't even know that we need those boundaries or how to set them and how to set them properly because we just haven't had the examples. The great thing now is there's so much free information online. Okay? There's so much free information and resources online where we can learn how to set those boundaries, right? Because, I can be like a bull in a china shop, and I very much was like, these are my kids. That's what I say, right? And whereas now I would say it a little differently, like, listen, I always take your feedback under consideration. However, at the end of the day, they are my children, and I ultimately get to decide. And I completely, 100% am grateful and appreciate any and everything you've done. In parentheses, please know that I've always financially provided for my own children. Anything anybody did for my children as far as clothes, gifts, and that, they were truly that, just gifts, right? But I do understand the sacrifices that were made, in terms of time and care and love. And I'm very grateful for that, right? And so that's how I would say it. And I'm very grateful for that. But if it's a burden, or if we're not understanding where the line is drawn, I understand if that this may no longer work for you, and I just give me some time and let me find other options. Right? Because I do take your feedback seriously. I do take your feedback under consideration. However, as a parent, I do also have certain rights with what I decide is right for my family and my household and my children. Just like you did, and you wanted yours to be respected, I also want mine to be respected as well. Okay? But I didn't have the tools and equipment to be able to have that kind of conversation back then. So trust me, that whole intergenerational thing, it was some work. A lot of work. It was definitely a blessing, but it also came with some curses. And I truly believe that everything God has taken me through in the last 10 years, it was so that I can change that and that dynamic flow a lot more smoothly with my daughter and my grandchildren. However, there are still hiccups. There are still times when it's like, okay, I'm trying to gentle parent you. I'm gentle parenting myself. I'm gentle grandparenting. But sometimes we just got to say, like, I'm not going to be disrespected either. I'm your mama and I love you and I'm here to support you. But ain't nobody going to make no fool out of me either. Right? So again, preach, right? So again, boundaries. Now the boundaries are just down the line instead of up the line. Y'all have to excuse me. I'm getting over this. When I get a cold, that upper respiratory is so bad for me. But I'd much rather be in this situation where my 4-year-old granddaughter looks to me to be a part of her learning to read. And, you know, there was an endearing video that I was able to post on Facebook in the last week of me reading to her, and my 10-year-old grandson is the one who actually filmed it, right? So it's being able to have those moments instead of, you know, a few times a year they're able to come spend the weekend with grandma, and Nana is so tired and exhausted. It's almost like they're a pain in the butt when they're really not. But you're just so tired and on edge from working and being treated poorly at work. Preach, says Kayla Wayla, right? So DBA is a great tool, resource, and library for you to be able to pull from and learn things like how to build a bomb brand, right? And I want you to know that the ladies who pulled all this together and created it, they are working moms, right? Jakayla was on live earlier and she was saying that she didn't build her digital products business with her, you know, son being a little baby. You know, he was a little baby when she was building her clientele, right? And her clientele is why she started selling and offering digital products, because working with clients, again, it could be a blessing and a curse. Yeah, you can charge a client $10,000, $15,000 for a branding package. And I've done it. But man, it's a blessing and a curse. They talk back. They send revisions. They want to reach out to you on vacation. They pay you $4,000 on Wednesday, and on Friday they expect the work to be done. And you told them, hey, I'm going to Disney World. I'll definitely be working on this, but I will be on vacation. I will be at Disney World, right? Some of them can be the worst bosses, quote unquote, right? So you got to know who it is that you serve, how you serve them, and why you serve them. These are things you need to include in your messaging. Okay? You got to be able to include that in your messaging. But just simply saying, oh, it's August, so people are not spending money because of back to school, I beg to differ. People are always spending money. People, when they want here's the bottom line. You're not seducing them. You are not making them want it. Because when they want it, they figure it out and they make it happen. Right? So your messaging, your offer, you know, like my offer is DBA Volume 2 is only $222 while I'm live. Otherwise, it's $333. Okay? It's $333. The price goes back up. I take the price back up while I'm live to $333. So if you want it for $222, you want to join while I'm live and get it for $222, right? If you join while I'm live, you get that membership, that mentorship chat, that Telegram chat with me where you can ask me questions and I can help you. And who knows, maybe we'll do Zooms bi-weekly or monthly or something, right? So what are you doing to create that desire for them to click buy now, to smack that buy now button now? What are you doing? And keep in mind, if this is the first time someone comes in contact with you, the chance of them buying right then and there is actually pretty slim, right? It's actually pretty slim. That's why if you go to the link up here, you can click and you can go to the DBA sneak peek to get that sneak peek and learn more about it. And then I get your email and you go through a series of emails to give you more education and testimonials and wins and content about DBA so that you are comfortable. Because I'm not in the business of convincing anybody. Because if I got to convince you to join, I got to convince you to stay. And that's just too much work for me. I don't get down like that. Okay? I don't get down like that. So keep that at the forefront. Who is it that you serve? If you need help with outlining who it is that you serve, you can always reach out to me and you can book a one-on-one strategy session. Okay? You can book a one-on-one strategy session. There's actually training included in my Pin Profits Mastery course. That one of the bonuses is a course that I created on, discovering your ideal client avatar. You can get access to that if you join Pin Profits Mastery, right? DBA, if you join DBA while I'm live, it is $222. You can actually join DBA for as low as $55.55 while I'm live, because you can break that $222 into four payments. And you got to be very careful, because I do not want to get embarrassed and almost die on live by accidentally swallowing a cough drop while I'm talking. Normally I would not talk while I have a cough drop in my mouth. However, I am live and we're having a good talk. But I'm also feeling really dry and itchy in the throat. So bear with me here. Bear with me, okay? Bear with me, okay? So we're talking about your ideal client, and sometimes you might need to make slight tweaks. But here's the bottom line. Some people call it your niche, right? Like CEO Matt, I'm not going to go through his framework. If you want his framework, I do offer BPU, which is Business Pro University, where he goes in on his framework for defining your ideal client, right? Like the whole adjective, noun, verb thing, right? My training actually goes a lot more in depth than that. And it's not to discount his, because his training is awesome. I love his coaching and teaching style. It's very similar to mine, including the build a note. I didn't call it that, but I've been writing the note as I'm training for years. 4 years. A lot of my paid courses and training, it's literally exactly the same way that he does that. We also have very similar corporate experience and background. So I got mad respect for him, right? And that's why I secured Business Pro University and added it to my offering, because it's a great course. It's an actual course, okay? It's an actual course, includes several modules so that you learn how to sell digital products, right? There's email marketing, searchability, what we were talking about earlier. That video is on YouTube. You can go and find it and watch it on YouTube. Searchability is huge, right? Email marketing automations is huge. Listen, people have been able to create a lot of income in the last 10 years by circumventing core pieces of digital marketing. And the unfortunate thing about that is now they're spoiled. And rather than, I'm waiting to see here, is it gonna, I thought it was gonna make me verify. And rather than learn those pieces, some of them would just rather go to work a job. Okay. So, I don't know. Oh, my phone must have gotten hot. Laughing at my daughter's texting. So, your ideal client should be at the center of all of your content. Your ideal client needs to be at the center of your content. Okay? Your ideal client needs to be at the center of everything that you do in business. Right? And that is honestly why I don't roll into the entire faceless thing. Because at the end of the day, if people are looking for connection, if people are looking to be seen, heard, and acknowledged, you can do that to a degree with a faceless account. But to me, a brand new beginner, faceless is just not the way to go. It's going to take you so much longer. The people who, oh, I wish I'm finally making my first sale in DBA or any other course, it's because they went faceless. They went immediately faceless. You really need to know what you're doing to go faceless. You're trying to circumvent the growth. You're trying to circumvent the learning and the trial and error. You're more worried about what people think and what people have to say instead of actually going through it, and that making you a stronger, better marketer and helping you to define who it is that you serve and how you serve them. You're trying to get around it by going faceless. And this whole going faceless because you're an introvert, baby, you are looking at the poster child for introvert. A lot of y'all are making excuses. An introvert ain't even what y'all think an introvert is. I correct people all the time. Being an introvert, it's not that I'm not outgoing. People get so amazed that I'm an introvert and I will go live for hours at a time, multiple times a day. Because that's not what being an introvert is. The reason I would much rather do it live than go to like an in-person networking meeting, it's not even that I don't like people. I don't like being in the presence of everybody's energy. Other people's energy, and a lot of it drains me. It depletes me. I recharge by myself. And I don't know if it's I got Riz or what, but people are drawn to me. Okay? People are drawn to me. And I know that. I can't walk down the street. I can't go anywhere without people stopping and talking to me. Whether it's colorful hair or not, this has just been the story of my life. People are drawn to me. Okay? So you're looking at the poster child for introvert. And as an introvert, I would rather go live And I'm actually okay with being on stage because there's some separation there. There's some separation there, right? But like, there are certain friends, I will avoid talking to them on the phone because just their energy over the phone depletes me. Just depletes me, just completely drains me. I won't go so far as to call them energy vampires because they're friends, but sometimes it definitely feels like some energy vampire going on. So this whole thing that you're an introvert, so you should go faceless. Do you know how many introverts thrive online, like Chalene Johnson? She thrives online, and she is definitely an introvert, and her husband is the extrovert, yet she's the face of their brand, and he's behind the scenes working the finance, right? The number one reason a lot of us introverts need to charge in private and alone is because extroverts tend to suck up all the air in the room. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm not saying that to be mean at all. Introverts, we don't have to be the center of attention when we walk in the room. Honestly, a lot of the time we are without even trying to be, and don't even have the desire to be. Right? We don't even have the desire to be. And extroverts almost are faking it until they make it by being the attention seeker in the room, and in some cases, honestly sucking all the air out of the room. So the idea that you have to have a faceless account because you're introverted, do you really even know what it means to be introverted? Extroverts get their energy by sucking all the air out of the room, being the center of attention, being in the spotlight, shining, as they call it. Introverts, some of us honestly don't have to. And I think that's what's so confusing with people. They think I'm extrovert, and you can see me like I'm literally glowing on this live, right? When I'm on, I am on. But what people don't understand is when I'm not, I'm not. And you need to let me be until I have the energy to be back on again. Right? I don't even know if that's introvertism. The fact that so many people want to plug into me all the time and want to tap my energy and my light. I choose to see it as a blessing. And trust me, it is a choice. It is a decision to see it as a blessing. It's how I choose to see it. But you have to know who it is that you serve them. You have to know how your product, how your service, how what you offer is going to make them money, how it's going to save them money, how it's going to save them time, how it's going to help them avoid effort, right? It's like that meme that goes around Facebook all the time about doing laundry, folding it, and putting it away all in the same day. Right? People who have, here's a great example for you. People who are having financial troubles and stresses, one of the number one behaviors that they exhibit is avoiding opening the bills and letting the bills stack up. Imagine talking about that if that's your ideal client. Imagine talking about that. Just because you don't open those bills and you let them stack up doesn't mean that they're going to go away. They're only going to be like milk, and they're going to spoil with time. You can't avoid it, right? If you're in credit repair, for example, not taking their call is not going to make it go away. Blocking them is not going to make it go away. You'd be amazed at what you can get accomplished if you actually answer the phone and have a real conversation with them. And I'm not in credit repair, so that's just an example. Okay? So you have to know who it is that you serve, how your product is either going to make them money, save them time, make them time, buy back their time. Like a product like DBA literally helps people buy back their time, right? I've given the example of me as a single mom. There was no more time to give. I was already at a time deficit. There was no more time, no more energy to give to a second or third job, but we still could use the income. So had someone presented something like DBA to me in a way that's going to help me buy back my time, right? And at my income level, there weren't a whole lot of jobs that were worth my time for me to go work them. You will get that way once you are full-time content creating, coaching, or consulting. You will get that way where if you're having a little bit of a lull, you're having a downtime, you will quickly gather yourself if you go and you start looking at jobs and what they pay, or even something part-time. And you think about a part-time job paying even $20 an hour. And you think, man, one DBA is $10, 10 hours, 10 hours of part-time. One DBA volume 2 is 10 hours of a part-time job at $20 an hour. And then you will gather yourself really quickly. You will gather yourself really quickly. You will figure it out. You will make it happen. You will save yourself, and very quickly. So you have to know who it is that you serve, why you serve them. That's how you make that connection. You have to share with people why it is that you're doing what you're doing. You have to share your story. And that is why your first ideal client is likely you when you first started or right before you started. That's going to be your first ideal client. And then your ideal client is going to evolve as you evolve. But you can't forget who brought you to the dance. You're going to have more than one ideal client. But when you are talking to everybody, baby, you talking to nobody. You talking to nobody. And you don't want to be out here talking to nobody. I'm just a nobody. How's that song go? I'm just a nobody trying to tell somebody or everybody. I don't know, something like that, right? So you can't, let's not do that to ourselves. Let's not kid ourselves and say that it's August, so it's just going to be a low month. And hey, I used to do that in my business. I used to make that excuse. And I would work really hard on what I would have going on in September. And a couple years ago, I decided to stop that with both August, with summer in general, and then January, because I used to make that excuse about January. And my last 2 Januaries have been rock star because I decided that no longer was true for me. It might be true for other people that January could be a slow month, but it was no longer true for me. I no longer subscribe to that thought. And that's why personal development is your highest income producing activity. Okay? Personal development is your highest income producing activity because it's all about mindset. Your income will seldom exceed personal development. Okay? I'll be on here for maybe another 30 minutes. So if you're thinking about DBA and you're not quite ready today, definitely check out that preview. You can go to TamiraHamilton.com, DBA sneak peek. Or if you're on the Clock app, click my face and get to the site that's listed there. And the sneak peek is the 3rd button. And then you can also actually secure DBA Volume 2 for only $222 while I am on live. Okay? Instead of $333. Now, with that being said, you also can set up a payment plan. Okay? You can select Klarna or Afterpay as your payment method. Most of my people tend to pay in full, though. I'm blessed that way, right? You can set up Klarna or Afterpay as your payment method, and it can be split up in as, 4 payments and over 2 months, or I guess if you go to the website directly, I guess you can get even longer or more payments than that. But most people, it's 55 over 4 payments every other week. So about 2 months. Okay. And the great thing is when you resell DBA, you get 100% of the profit. I get nothing. It's all yours. It's all yours. So you could join for 55 and make your first sale before your first payment is due. Your second payment, because you'd have to actually make your first payment today. So before your second payment is due, and you could even pay it off. Or you could just keep paying it. People do it all the time. They do it like every day. Right? And it's not always because they don't have the money. Some people just like that thrill. They just enjoy that. Thank you for the like. The real I can't read that. But thank you. Right? What questions can I answer while I am still on here? What questions can I check out? What questions can I answer for you? DBA is a viral product. If you are going to sell something online, you want to sell something that is viral, that is hot, that is trending. But I hate to use the word trending in conjunction with DBA, because DBA is not something that's just going to be here today and gone tomorrow. Because what's inside of DBA, I'm telling you, the Build a Bomb brand module alone, I could sell that for over $2,000. Like, do you understand that what is inside of the Build a Bomb brand module? If you learn that skill set and you master it, you can work your way up from what I call beauty school pricing, which is really low pricing to get your first few clients so they can be your case studies, your white papers, and your testimonials. And you leverage those and start building your quote unquote portfolio so that you can charge more and more till you can get to the point where you're charging $10, $12, $15, $20,000 for a branding package. And it's included with DBA Volume 1 and Volume 2. Now, there's no guarantee of that. But there's also no guarantee with your college education either. Ask me how I know. Double master's degree, marketing and finance, undergrad in marketing. Right? So, if you happen to be that mom and you got to figure out how you're going to get these supplies and the first month of lunch money and all of that, I highly recommend DBA, Digital Boss Academy. And here's why. You can take things that you already know. It does not even have to be related to your work or your education. Right? I messaged a friend just a little bit ago because I was watching someone else's live. I can't even remember who. And they mentioned that they had a client or a friend who wrote a crochet ebook, an ebook all about crocheting, and made like $100,000 in something like 3-4 months. So it doesn't even have to be what you went to school for. It doesn't have to be what you spent 30 years doing. I just happen to love marketing like that. So of course it's digital marketing for me. But on Pinterest, I actually make a lot of money with my cooking videos because I've been cooking since like 4th grade. I was the oldest child. I am the oldest child. I'm the oldest grandchild, the oldest niece, the firstborn niece. So yeah, I know how to cook. Thank you for the likes. So I know how to cook. So I know how to cook. My cooking videos. And the Zon, you know what I mean when I say the Zon? And the Zon affiliate links, right? On Pinterest. I also get high-end, thank you, high-end coaching clients through LinkedIn, through Pinterest. 2 today on my last live. 1 was from YouTube, 1 was from LinkedIn. So that's why you want to be omnipresent. I had to have that conversation with myself. I had to coach myself. I had to coach myself that just going in on the clock app because that's how other people are winning and that's where I saw and bought the product. I shouldn't just lock in on that one platform. I need to do what I do best, which is my omnipresence. So I had to make the conscientious decision to make sure, and I'm still behind, right? There's like my blog, like I need a VA just for my blog because I started going live at the end on TikTok at the end of April. And by May, I was going live every day. I might have missed going live like 1 or 2 days in May, 1 or 2 days in June. So just from those live videos alone, which I downloaded all of them because Greg and Barbara ain't raised no fool. My content makes me money in my sleep. I am like a TV network. I have a whole syndication strategy. Okay? So my content, I've been saying this for years. I don't have to create another piece of content. I am not in content poverty. I am content abundant. Content prosperous over here. Okay? I don't have to go and create content for a specific platform. The one exception to that I kind of feel like I need to is IG. And I'm just not really feeling IG right now. I post to my stories. I will stream live over there. But day-to-day content, because it just does not, it's not fitting repurposing. Right? I can repurpose from the clock app to Pinterest. I can repurpose from the clock app to YouTube. But what's going on over on IG right now, it just doesn't, the repurposing just doesn't work as well and flow as easily. And y'all know my rule. You know the motto I live by. If it doesn't bring me joy, if it doesn't come with ease and flow, it is not for me. And it is up to me to figure out what is going to bring me joy and how to achieve it with ease and flow. So basically, I say all that to say, in the Instagram feed right now is not in alignment for me. It's not in alignment for me at all. So I'm not really posting there. I know I need to. But do I really? Because at the end of the day, only you get to decide what you really need to do in your business. And that's one thing about me as a coach. There are some things that are non-negotiable that I'm going to tell you that you do got to do. But at the end of the day, baby, it's your business. And what you will never have the opportunity to do is blame me for your business results or lack thereof. And that by the same token, I'm also not looking for credit for your business results either. Okay? Because at the end of the day, you have to do the work. And in one-on-one, we do it together. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to keep it going. See, there was a time when a lot of people wanted to work with a coach and they like to blame a coach. Well, so-and-so said, y'all want to blame the coach. When at the end of the day, it's up to you to grow your business. It's up to you to know who it is that you serve. It's up to you to get in tune with them and know what is going to drive them to action, what's going to make them move. Okay? That's on you. I can help you figure it out. I can help you with your thought process and your strategy. But at the end of the day, if you got a horrible offer and you refuse to adjust it, that's all on you. Ain't nothing I can do about that other than stop working with you. Because you're not going to run my name and face into the ground. Because it's cute. We just not going to do that, right? Let me see. What does my guy say? Kevin Trudeau. Let me look up Kevin Trudeau. Okay. I'm going to read you the direct quote. Okay. So he talks about a couple things. Number one, teachability index, which is your willingness to learn times your willingness to accept change. Okay. Your willingness to learn times your willingness to accept change. Your coach should be able to tell you things that make you uncomfortable and that you don't want to hear. Okay. And what I always tell people, then prove me wrong and prove you right. But prove somebody something. Don't just sit here and hem and haw and go back and forth. You have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to try. And you came to me because something is not working. So you came to me because I'm the expert. Let me be the expert. I do take under advisement what you know about your ideal client, what you actually know, not the excuses that you're making. Because it's August and they got to pay for money for back to school is an excuse. At the very least, this is the time when you increase your marketing. You don't not market because people, you don't promote, you don't talk about, you don't create content because people are spending money on back to school. That's the worst mistake that you can make, okay? And when it comes to who you should listen to, this is what locked me in with Kevin Trudeau. You listen to three people: those who have what you want, those who've been where you are, and ultimately you need to be able to listen to yourself. You ultimately need to be able to listen to yourself. If you can't listen to yourself, that is a trust issue. You need to figure out why you don't trust yourself. And you need to figure that out fast, okay? Because it's okay to seek counsel and opinions, but never let somebody tell you what you have to do. You take advice, but not orders. Hear me out. You get advice, but you don't take orders. And that's because 95% of what we think are facts are nothing more than opinions. Kevin Trudeau is that dude, I'm telling you. Kevin Trudeau. I don't think his videos that I used to listen to are on YouTube anymore, but I would definitely hit me up and I can get you the link to his CDs. Hi, Tracy. How are you? Can definitely get you the link to his CDs. In fact, the creator of Digital Boss Academy, what really made me connect with her was she shared how she would listen to his videos and how that really helped her in her business and actually create Digital Boss Academy. I'm great, girlfriend. Good to see you. Thank you for the like. We're talking about the fact that I've personally heard from students and clients, making a lot of excuses for August that their clients, their would-be clients are too focused on get back to school right now and spending money on back to school. And as the word that my grandson learned during the presidential debates, malarkey, that's malarkey, okay, which is a fancy term for BS. Because that's exactly why they need something like DBA or digital products, to have that extra money and less stress, okay? So I shared the 5 reasons that people ultimately buy, right? That is to either make money, save time, make time, avoid doing something, and they're usually avoiding doing something painful, right? And I've given some examples there, okay? We've talked about, like with DBA, for example, you need to know your ideal client to the point that when in your content, they need to feel seen, heard, and acknowledged, okay? And when you know who it is that you serve, why you serve them, your comments are being filtered. It's not me, hun. I'm not filtering them. Oh, I'm sorry. But when you know why it is that you serve them and how you serve them, and you can communicate that, convey that in your content, you're filtered in everyone's lives. That's so strange. I'm so sorry to hear that. Okay. you that's how you build that connection, and that's when you start to begin to actually build community, when you share your why. Now, your why cannot be a 3-hour video. Your why, you need to be able to succinctly tell your why in under 3 minutes. Ask me how I know, all right? Right? Your why should be so clear. It's not. Let me go over here on my desktop and see, because it should be working. What were you trying to get to, hun? Yeah, it works when I click it. Your comment went through that time. Awesome. Yeah, it works when I click it. Did I bring my iPad? I did not. Oh, wait. Yes, I did. Let me try my iPad. Because on desktop, it works. Let's see. Let me try my iPad. Oh, I got just enough juice, too. Thank you. I don't know. Because when I clicked it from desktop, it worked. Let me try from my iPad. Seems to be working, but we'll see here in a second. Yeah, it worked. It came up. So there's the sneak peek. There's DBA. There's Business Pro University. There's, you can get a one-on-one coaching. There's the script. They're all there. It came up. Still saying the same thing on your end. Maybe it's your settings. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just from the phone it is doing it. And I can't check that right now because I'm using the phone for this live. But I know people have been clicking it because my numbers show that people have been clicking it. And I've also been collecting leads. So that's strange. It's really strange. But thank you. I will definitely look into it and see who else can test it out for me to see what's happening, because that is really weird. Okay. So thank you for letting me know, Tracy. So yeah, you want to know who it is that you serve and how you serve them and be able to communicate your why, right? And then from there is really important to be able to communicate the benefits and advantages of something like Digital Boss Academy, of Business Pro University, in a way that is around the 5 ways that people typically make a purchase. Okay? Number 1 is make money. Okay? Number 2 is to save money. Number 3 is to save time. And I like to actually reference save time as buy your time back. Because as a busy single mom who was already working well over 40 hours a week, there was just not really a whole lot of time to be a mother if I went and got a second job, a part-time job, right? Plus, the way my primary job worked, it would have been, a second job just really wasn't an option, okay? People are also avoiding effort, right? There's something they're willing to pay convenience for. An example, I've given this example before, is when my kids were smaller and I commuted 45 minutes to an hour each way. If I knew I needed to grab milk, I did one of 2 things. I either went to the grocery store that was in the parking lot across from work, and in winter, I could buy the milk and I could leave it in the car and it would stay cold. I couldn't do that in summer, right? And so if it were summer, I would more likely to stop at like Walgreens and grab a gallon of milk from Walgreens. Yeah, I might pay a little bit more for it, but the convenience of being able to get in and out of Walgreens instead of going into a mega store like Walmart and even some grocery stores was worth it to me. I'm still like that. I would rather go shopping at Walgreens on most days so I can get in and get out. And where I live, there's a Walmart, the grocery store. They call it Little Walmart. In the Supercenter, they call it Big Walmart. I'd rather go to Little Walmart any day. I would. I'm willing to pay for convenience. My ideal client is the same way. They are willing to pay for convenience. I would say that about the DBA customer. They are willing to pay for somebody else to have created the product and they make minor tweaks to it. I'm so much about convenience. I'd rather just sell DBA than rebrand the digital products that are done for you and sell those. I'm not even going to lie to you. I'd rather just sell DBA. Just buy the entire course. Just buy DBA. That's just me though. And that's my skill set. That's my life experience. I'm able to do that. And I dropped my fan and I'm warming up. So we got 10 more minutes, and then I got to go. 10 more minutes. If you want to join DBA while I'm live, you can get volume 2 for $222 instead of $333. And while I'm live, I'm throwing in a mentorship chat on Telegram. People pay $500 to pick my brain. So you will have access. We will be doing things like content checks and share your wins and answering questions in that mentorship chat, right? I'm only offering that while I'm live. So if you want that you have to join while I'm live. And don't feel rushed. I got to get this fan because I'm sweating. Don't feel rushed. Right? Because I'm not in the business of persuading people at all. I don't do that. I'm not in the business of persuading people. Either you want it or you don't. Either way works for me. Okay? If you want a 90-minute strategy session, you need to reach out to me. And I will send you the link to book that. It is not a free 90-minute strategy session. I've already told you what the price is. And on top of that, those do also have Klarna attached to them and Afterpay so that you can pay those in installments as well. Okay? You know, one of the questions that came up earlier was if somebody wanted to, how do you set up a blog and landing pages? We can do that together in a strategy session, right? If we run over 90 minutes, we happen to run over 90 minutes, right? We're going to get the job done. I'll put it that way. We will definitely get the job done. Okay. Preferably 90 minutes, but people buy those 90-minute sessions for all sorts of things. You know, we, audit their social media. I help people go through Facebook ads and how to set up ads. We've done numerous things with those sessions. I sent out an email last week with some of the things like holiday marketing. People are booking them for their holiday marketing. People need their holiday marketing strategy and their timeline. So I'm helping them map that out right now with those strategy sessions. So it's definitely worth, it's almost like a one-on-one tutoring session. That's why it's priced the way that it is, because I only want people who are serious. I hate that phrase, serious inquiries only. But yeah, I only want people who are going to do the work, who are going to show up on time, who are not going to cancel, people who are committed to success, especially their own. Okay? Whew. Just heated up all of a sudden, so got to bring it back down. I did turn the air off, and now the door is closed, so that's part of it too. But I'm going to get ready to go soon. Probably won't be live again today. Maybe tomorrow I will. So if you want DBA, this is your last call. You got like 7 minutes, and then I got to go. I'm trying to think of what other questions have come up recently. But I can tell you this whole thing that it is August, so people are focused on back to school. That is the reason why they need to buy something and create income. That is not an excuse. That is not a reason. That is an excuse. That is actually a reason why, right? Like a lot of people, because I've been leading teams and people for years in coaching, there are people who will use their children. They'll say their children is their why, and their children are really their excuse. That's why I always tell people your children are not your why, because they're not. Because I can tell you, your children get grown. They grow up. They move out. They start families of their own. And then you're left figuring out what your why is, right? My why at one point was I wanted to be a stay-at-home nana. I wanted to be with my grandson. I didn't want him going to daycare, right? I didn't want him going to daycare. So I worked and I was able to achieve that. But then for like a year, I was lost. I didn't know what I wanted after that. So you got to constantly be revising your why and upgrading your why, right? You got to constantly be doing that. Whew, this feels good. So just a few more minutes and I'm going to shut it down. You know, you can have excuses or you can have a reason why. You can't have both. Like, I know that sounds cliche, but it is very true. You can have one or the other, but you can't have both, right? Nobody's coming to save you. They literally are not coming to save you. You've got to save yourself. You've got to save yourself, right? Your number one income producing activity is going to be personal development. But at the same time, information plus application equals transformation. So if you're doing all the personal development and not getting results, it's because you're not applying it. You got to apply it. You got to do something with it. That's the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Wisdom comes from by actually doing it. And discernment is like at an all-time low. Discernment is seriously at an all-time low. What was this, like, misinformation was likely to get 6 times the engagement on Facebook or something like that. And that was a few years ago. It has to be worse now. Because the stuff that I've seen people not only share that they knew better than to share, but to double down on is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Like the AI video of Sonia Massey saying she actually did do something with that boiling water when she didn't. And he didn't even have his body cam on. People doubled down on that. I saw a clip taken completely out of context saying that the candidate was basically showing the candidate mocking and making fun of Gen Z. Completely taken out of context. And once I see someone share stuff like that, I just don't look at them the same. I might still consume their content and even engage with it, but the likelihood of me purchasing from them is very slim. Because that's an integrity issue for me. That's an integrity issue. And people are doubling down on misinformation. And I know that they're doing it for algorithm. And I find that utterly disgusting myself. And that's just me. Again, I don't think I'm better than nobody, but I don't think nobody better than me either. And I also believe in stewardship. I also believe in social responsibility. To whom much is given, much is required. And when we are given these platforms, as quickly as they are given to us, they can and will be taken from us if we misuse them and mishandle them. That they will. Don't believe me? Look around you. There's someone you know who fell from grace. Right? Doesn't mean they can't climb back up again. Doesn't mean they can't build it back up. Not saying that. However, like I said, you can lose it just as quickly as you built it. Actually, you lose it faster than it took to build it. Because if you build it that quickly, you was doing something you had no business doing, to be honest with you. Okay. So, I'm going to be right... get ready to get off of here. My cough is getting better, so that is good. That is good. That is good. Get ready to get settled in for the night. But if you want DBA, you better be getting over to my link now. Better be getting over to my profile and grabbing it, because you can get it for volume 2 for $100 off for only $222 instead of $333. while I am live, which I'm not going to be for much longer here. Okay. I'm not going to be live here for much longer. So you can get it for $222. You save time, right? Let me show you. Okay. You save time because the done for you products and the course itself has master resale rights. So you can sell that. You can earn while you learn, or you can just learn. Some of my latest marketing has been just strictly about learning, not even about earning with DBA, because it really is a good program. It's an excellent program, right? So you can definitely save time by the fact that you don't have to create products, okay? You're also saving time that way. And I've already talked about how you can buy your time back, right? Because even if you get a part-time job paying $20 an hour, you divide that into $222, and it's about 10 and a half hours of work if you sell one DBA volume 2. I'm sold at that point. I'm sold. I'm sold. I'm going to find somebody to buy DBA so I don't have to find 10 more hours and leave my home and go deal with, because you're probably dealing with the public, either in a retail environment or on the phone, and a boss and coworkers for only $20 an hour. That's just me though. That's just me. That's just me. Because I promise you, once you get to the point that you are making sales in your sleep, your content is selling for you in your sleep, you become a different person. You become a different person. Let me tell you, that boss, the things they used to be able to say and do, they can't get away with that no more. Because you got options. They can get away with a lot as long as they have you thinking, yeah, you can get a job somewhere else, but will you be able to get the benefits and the pay that you're getting here? And when there are people who get to the point and quickly where they are making more from digital products than they are from their full-time job, where they are making more from coaching, consulting, from their own courses than they are making from their part-time job. I sell Pin Profits Mastery for $555. And yeah, I sell more because it offers a payment plan that can be broken up into 4 payments, but I get all my money up front. So why would I go work a part-time job when I can go sell a Pin Profits Mastery? I can go sell a half-day VIP coaching session for $1,500, $2,000 or more. I can go sell a coaching package done for you where we're setting up your digital marketing infrastructure for $2,000 a month for 6 months, for $3,000 a month for 6 months. You begin to think differently, and that's why I promise you. Hey, AA87. That's why I promise you. Once you get the teeniest amount of success with this, your mind is going to explode. It actually sent me into a tailspin years ago, because it was just 9 years ago that I launched my first course. And I mean, it wasn't like 6 figures or anything, but the amount of money I made in such a short period of time really sent me into, my tailspin was kind of a depression. Because I was just like, I can't believe I paid for a college degree. I can't believe I did all of this. I went through everything I went through in corporate when I could have been doing this all along. And it was this easy. It was this easy. And that's what I love about DBA Digital Boss Academy. It literally is you learning how to create a cash generating machine with what you already know, your experiences, your life. You can literally get paid to exist. Everybody wants to talk about the soft life. The real soft life is you just get paid to exist. Right? So I gotta go. I gotta leave the house. I gotta go. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. You go grab DBA right now before I change the price. But I gotta go. So I will see y'all on the next live. And make sure you follow me, you subscribe if you aren't, and I will see you soon.